Search for Truth 2, Lesson 11, Chart 3, Signs of the End, Israel. Israel regathered. Jesus said that the generation living at the restoration of the Jewish nation would witness Christ's return. Luke 21 verses 29 through 31. And he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth, ye see and know your own selves that the summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is nigh at hand. A psalm also declares that Jerusalem's rebuilding is a sign of the Lord's return soon. Psalm 102 verse 16. When the Lord shall build up Zion, he shall appear in his glory. In 1918, the Balfour Declaration was signed by Great Britain and Israel, permitting the Jews to return to Palestine. On May 14, 1948, Israel became a nation. As expected, the fig tree was adapted to the Israel national symbol. Therefore, the last generation began in 1948. Luke 21:32. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. We are that generation, of that group who witnessed Israel's restoration. Some will still be living at the coming of Christ. A city regained. Jerusalem, more than any other city of the world, will play a prominent role in end-time events. Luke 21:24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. The recovery of Old Jerusalem in June 1967 is perhaps the greatest fulfillment of prophecy in our time. The June 5th, 1967, the Six-Day War broke out. Within 2 days, Jerusalem, the Mount of Olives, Bethlehem, and all the West Bank were in Israeli control. Thus, after 1,897 years, Jerusalem was again controlled by the Jews, signaling that the time of the Gentiles had almost expired. The city is still trodden down of Gentiles, indicating that the times of the Gentiles has not yet expired. Israel's neighbors have never rejoiced over Jewish restoration to their homeland. Conflict of the nations. Christ predicted that the Jewish people would recapture Jerusalem, then added that hatred for the chosen nation would be revived to new extremes. Adolf Hitler determined to exterminate the Jewish race. Old Testament prophet Zechariah described Jerusalem as a cup of trembling and a burdensome stone for all the people. See Zechariah 12 verses 2 and 3. Headed by Russia, a group of nations are destined to war against this tiny nation. See Ezekiel 38 verses 1 through 6 and 15 and 16. Ezekiel's prophecies concerning Israel and her enemies are so specific they resemble a modern geography textbook. That Russia heads the great Northern Confederacy of Ezekiel 38 and 39, there can be no doubt. 3 distinct signs give positive identification: ancestral tribal names, anti-religious character, and geographic location. Ezekiel begins by revealing the leader's family tree and genealogy as Gog. Magog is his native land. Numerous archaeological discoveries pinpoint these tribal names among Russians. Jewish historian Josephus states that Meshech and Tubal founded civilizations in the northern regions above the Caucasus Mountains. Meshech was founder of the Barbarous tribe dwelling in the Moschian Mountains. Moski, derived from the Hebrew Meshech, is the root source for the modern city of Moscow. Why would he be against a nation? Because that nation is against him. The Russians' cruel mistreatment of the Jews is second only to that of Adolf Hitler. For many years, Christians living in Russia have been severely oppressed. Since all geographical directions in the Bible are in relation to Israel, by drawing a line northward, we note the vast territory to be occupied by Russia. Ezekiel also names Russia's allies in this mighty conflict: Ezekiel 38 verses 5 and 6. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with a shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the northern quarters and of his bands, and many people with thee. Bible scholars and historians agree that Persia is modern Iran. Ethiopia is derived from Cush, the first son of Ham. Cush's descendants migrated across the Red Sea to this area south of Egypt. An African alliance is also identified in Daniel's prophecy as the king of the south. From the Hebrew Put comes the word Libya, representing Ham's third son. Put's descendants occupy Libya, Algeria, Tanzania, and Morocco. Gomer and all his bands is the eldest son of Japheth. Gomer's descendants settled north of the Black Sea, extending southward and westward into Europe. The Hebrew designates this area as Germany. Gomer's bands represents areas bordering Germany: Poland, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and Yugoslavia. Finally, the prophet indicates Togarmah and his bands, the grandson of Japheth. These nations possibly include modern Turkey, Armenia, and southern Russia. Why would Russia and her allies wish to attack Israel? Ezekiel gives greed as a motive. Ezekiel 38:13. Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey? To carry away silver and gold? To take away cattle and goods? To take a great spoil? Israel is without doubt the economic marvel of this world. Nor can vast chemical resources in the Dead Sea be ignored. Its minerals are estimated to be worth more than $1 quadrillion. A final reason could be that Israel is the land bridge to 3 continents: Europe, Asia, and Africa. According to Ezekiel, the vicious paw of the Russian bear could strike at any moment. Israel's conflict with the nations is another signpost pinpointing toward the end of time. Blood sacrifices restored. Christ's discourse also predicted that after Israel had been regathered, a temple would be rebuilt with a holy place, and the Mosaic system of blood sacrifices resumed. Matthew 24 verses 15 and 16. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Even at this present time, Israel has the cornerstone ready to be laid in the rebuilding of the temple. There are a great number of the Orthodox Jews who anticipate the reinstituting of animal sacrifices in the near future. Thousands of Levites have been trained, and many are descendants from the faithful priest Zadok, his descendants having been trained as high priests. Israel has been regathered and restored as a nation, but she has come in unbelief, still rejecting her true Messiah. Many still long for Messiah to come. Thus the setting is complete for the man of sin, impersonating the true Christ, to become the abomination who will bring desolation to the Jewish nation.